Okay, so this is in PubMed, and we're going to search now for something to do with physiology of marathon running. Now, it's fairly simple to do. The first thing to do, you have to tell the engine what it is where you want to find the information. At the moment, it's going to search everything, and the problem with that is it looks in places that make which basically increase the number of hits which are not relevant. So, for example, it looks in the names of authors. So, if you've got a name of an author called Marathon, it would find it. It will look it under the editor or the filter or the grant number or the issue or the journal title. So if we simply search and do the whole search based upon title and abstract. I'm now going to type in the first word. So I'm interested in marathon. So I'm putting marathon in. But I know there are other ways I can describe marathon. So what I'm going to do in here, in this little drop down here, I'm going to select add with or. So can you see it's got marathon title abstract, or I'm now going to type in endurance running. Okay, click or, so you see it's now building it. Query box is saying marathon title abstract or endurance running title abstract, or let's go for one more, which is yes. So I'm going to add in a new search phrase, which is marathoner. So make sure that's on or there. But I've run out of kind of phrases that I want to work with. So I'm now going to change this because I want to connect it. And I want to connect it now with, say, physiology. Now, don't be tempted to search for something specific. So let's say that you're interested in, say, physiology of marathon running, and you think, well, heart rate's important. Don't just search for heart rate. Keep it nice and broad. So, and physiology, but now I want alternates in there. So I'm going to put in or physiologic or, for example. So you start to build your search terms. And so you build this up, and basically what this is doing is this is making the net that you're going to search with. And I'm going to show you now what happens when you've kind of built the net. So imagine that is your search terms. That's your search strategy. I hit search. It's going to run. It'll take a moment to spin. And there we go. So it has found, because I've gone very, very broad, I'll show you why in a moment. I've gone very, very broad. It's down 313,000 results. Okay, and you're going, crikey, Dan, that's massive. But can you see straight away that some of these you think, gosh, these are going to be too specific. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop back into advanced to rerun this as a little search. If we go back in, and I'm just going to run the search again, but this time watch the difference that I'm going to do. Again, I'm going to go all fields, but I'm going to go title and abstract again, but I'm going to change it because remember that we had very broad terms in there. So I've got marathon or endurance running. Now, what I'm not going to do, because I am in a medical-based database, I'm not going to add the physiology because this only searches kind of medical and physiological papers. So if I now hit search, it'll take a moment again to come through, 2,731 papers. So suddenly we've got it into the realm of where we've got papers which are of interest. And you can do that as specifically as you want. Now the key to remember is that you want to use different phrasing. So if you're doing, say, football, it might be football or soccer or association football. You just need to be very specific in terms of the strategy. But the fundamental thing here in relation to Prisma is whatever that number is, and I got 2,700, is the number of papers, and you enter that number into this box here, and you state the database that it has come from. So you enter the number of papers into that box. there. At this point, we don't read those papers, we don't look at those papers. All we're going to be interested in a minute is screening those papers. There is a second source here. And this second source here is additional source records identified through other sources. And this may be, for example, if you have just done a brief search on your own and you found some literature that is relevant, that didn't come through the database search, or it may be that you've gone to identify what is called a Pearl paper. And a Pearl paper is a key study that is relevant to your area of understanding. And we'll come back to the Pearl paper in a very short kind of video in a moment. But you would identify those, because they weren't identified through this search here. You'd identify them in here. Now, normally what you do is you run this search approach using that same approach using multiple search engines. So let me just show you what that would look like. I'm just going to screen through. So this is two approaches that were done for looking at blood donation and exercise. So you can see that these are the kind of the strings that have all been put together. So you've got, example, this is PubMed, blood donation or blood collection or blood withdrawal. All of these are kind of being connected. You can see the ORs and so on in here, a total number of hits. And then this is using Web of Science, using the same approach as you've got here. There's slightly different ways of using what's called truncation, that's the connection between the two, but getting 380 hits. So what would happen in this box here is you would have the total of the two search engines there, both of them, and this box would be the additional sources. Now what you have to do is, once you have got that literature, you can't simply just go through here. It's particularly if you're using multiple search engines. You can't just simply go, well, I'm going to search through here and find the papers that are relevant to what I'm doing. What you do is you send the information. So you click on send to here and you send it to what it's called Citation Manager. So if you click on Citation Manager and you say all results, you ask it to create a file. So it's downloading it here. Might take a moment because my computer's being a little bit slow. So now we've got our file, and what we can then do is we can then open that file up in a Citation Manager piece of software, which you've all got access to. So let me show you how to use a citation piece of software.